It's Lil Baby.
Yo, welcome to Conversations with Chai. I'm your host, Ram Chaudhary, aka Lil Baby Ram Ram, and today we are at Indo Warehouse. Yo, I want y'all to know how crazy it is for me. Like, I don't even know how to introduce this. But today, I have with me the men of the moment. I have with me the famous, the infamous Kahani and Kunal Merchant. Come on, you can't do a whole tour globally and not be a little infamous.
Okay, Hey, listen,
Yo.
you're infamous, bro.
Yo, appreciate, first of all, y'all even having me, but we were talking about it, and like, the last time I saw y'all, I didn't even know Kahani, I DM'd Kunal, and we were talking about, y'all going on your global tour. Last show I caught was in New York, and you did it. You toured all of India, went up and down. Now you're touring all of the US, up and down, and now you're back to New York. What does that mean for y'all to bring it back to the Mirage?
Oh, it's crazy. I mean, this place, so this whole complex, Avant-Gardner, home of Brooklyn Mirage, has been the beginning of like everything. Like in terms of our growth, our first, I would call it our first big show was here in December of 2022, less than a year after we started the company. And so, now that we're back here at Mirage for the second time, it's crazy. It's crazy. I mean, basically all I'll say is like, the show that we put on, and you can ask every production person in the room tonight, everyone here, these are industry people, and they all look at our show and be like, we don't see stuff like this. You guys put so much effort into production, scheduling, how you create the show, and you're going to see that tonight. Everyone saw it last time, but we level up every time, like heavy. So
Yeah, that's always our goal. I would say, for both of us, we have our different, like our unique favorites, right? This is my favorite fucking club in the world. My life has changed because of some of the shows I've seen this place. And so I have been here many a time and been like, one day I'll play that stage. Any slot. And now for us to headline 2 times here, and this one is extra special because it's not just one room on a Sunday like we did last time, which by the way was really dope. It's a Friday night. The whole complex is brown people and our music, and we're not compromising. Like the sounds you're gonna hear tonight, they're gonna be shit. You're gonna hear every DJ sing and be like, I'd say 75% of every DJ set is gonna be music you've never heard before. This is to me pushing the culture forward in a venue like this, which is constantly pushing the culture forward. So we're not just coming here and like, oh, we're doing a brown party, Brooklyn Mirage. No, we are pushing Brooklyn Mirage further with our culture.
Nah, I think like, and it's crazy, like I was talking to somebody outside, I was like, the fact that y'all are doing this, and like, I think about like all the DJs up and down this like lineup, right? And like as a DJ, like being able to play Mirage, right? And the fact that it's not like, yo, like I'm like this like little opener for this random DJ, right? It's like, nah, like y'all putting on a brown-owned, brown-looking production that all of these DJs up and down that you're giving this opportunity to, right? Like everything, bro. Like your fits, the henna, right? Like everything is so brown and beautiful about this, right? And talk about like the culture that y'all really putting on the map, right? And I like really want to bring it back to like, yo, what it is for New York. Right?
Yes, thank you.
Like what it is for New York, right? Like again, like y'all toured India, did all of that, but y'all will always be Kunal Kahani from New York, right? And to bring the show back here to such a hallowed place like the Mirage, like yo, I got up there. This is my first time. Like I got up there and I'm all like, yo, like I got chills seeing an empty Mirage.
wait till you see it fill.
Bro, this is why I fuck with this guy, man.
Like
you get it.
No, bro, I got chills because I'm looking up this. I'm like, yo. Like this is like actually like when you're in the crowd, you realize like how immersive Mirage is, right? But when you're at the front and you see it empty, you're like, damn, right? And like, bro, I see Indo dancers. I have no idea what y'all are pulling off tonight, right? But it's like, yo, let's talk about like the lineup that y'all also put together, right? Having Ahab come in from the UK, right?
Yeah.
Having Simple come in, right? All of y'all artists, right? Playing all 3 stages. Like how excited are y'all to be just experience it outside of like, yo, playing it?
Oh, I mean, where do we start? Like, no one's ever seen a lineup like this. ever. And I think for it to happen in New York, like we are making New York a home and a beacon for, I think, South Asian artists around the world.
Especially this weekend.
Yeah.
Let's talk about this weekend.
Bro.
Someone told me half of Mumbai is in New York right now, right? We know what's happening this weekend, man. On ESPN, they're talking about cricket this weekend because what's going down Sunday?
Yeah, the match.
The match, right? The match, right? So, listen, like, we're not gonna say this happened by accident. They offered a select number of dates, and we said, let's make it a cultural thing, because that's what happens when you see what's happening with the NBA All-Star Game, right? It's not just basketball; it's culture, community, and music plays a big role there. So why is our community not doing the same thing? And so we took it upon ourselves to do that and make that the goal. And so now, not only do we have the community here, but we're not just like saying, you know what, it's just me and him playing. No, we're gonna bring the world here. You know how hard it is to get an artist visa? We got an artist visa for Sick Flip to pull up from India.
And I just want to say, that is a big fucking deal.
It's a huge
because
deal.
Right now, and for a long time, a visa, an artist visa, performance visa, any visa, but especially the foreign one, 3 to 4 year wait, right? Somehow, after writing tons and tons of letters of recommendations and getting tons of recommendation letters from some of the greatest artists out of India and people that wherever he's been, like the community rallied around him to be like, hey, we support him. He is a force to be reckoned with. He represents South Asian culture and what he is and what he does. And we got approval literally 2 weeks, not even 2 weeks before the show.
Yeah.
He's done, good, approved.
I mean, props to him and his team for making the commitment, investment to doing it.
It was a risk, right?
But yo, like he only really does that for something like this, right? Like y'all could never just come, like, if this was like, again, making it a cultural moment, it has to be, like the bar has to be up here, right? Like I had Shabs on the pod this morning, right? And I asked him, I'm like, what, you in town for like the cricket stuff? He's like, yeah, and I'm mostly here for Indo. And I was like, oh, that's crazy, right? It's like, yo, like this is like people coming in to New York to see y'all play at such a hollow ground.
Speaking
Pull up.
Oh, we have the legendary.
Oh, man.
How can I
We're just talking about you. We're just talking about
infiltrate
you.
the content like this?
Look, come on.
Hi. Nice to meet you.
So great to meet you. Thank you. We were just
I'm the baby.
talking about you. We were just talking about you. Hi,
about you.
Aram. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
How you doing?
Yeah, fine. How are you?
Pizza
How
tour.
I'd be so remiss to say the way that you opened
We gotta go next time
your
together.
boiler room set. So Z played that in a New York club, and it's such an intrinsic memory for me. Like that flip that you did of the Nishaba, like it's such an intrinsic memory, and I have to give you that, right? Because it's like such a memory that I will always have. Like somebody played his flip, and I didn't even know it was his, and then I look up the boiler room set. I was like, oh shit, it's Ahan's, right? And I was like, yo, it's going to be such like a ingrained memory. Like that's how I feel like today is going to be. I think
memories.
I think about the first Indo and like the memories that were really associated with it, and I think about like how this one is going to be.
Oh, you're in for a journey.
Sorry to pull you.
I'm excited, bro.
It's amazing. What comes to of course. What comes to
Thank you for being here.
See you in a bit.
See you in a bit.
Wow. I mean, this is what it is. Like when you see people you look up to, you respect. I've been talking to him for over 3 years about bringing him to New York because he's been dope. And then you have Nabia, and there's so much she does, you know. And then you look at Balti, and then you look at we talked about Sick Flip, but then you look at our artists, right? And I think that's something we're so incredibly proud of is the growth our artists have shown in such a small amount of time. I mean, our artists, like 2 of our artists were literally doctor. I mean, they're still full-time doctors, but they were only doctors like a couple years ago, and now they're closing Mirage. And then you have Are You Blue, who is for the first time performing a live hybrid set with multiple musicians. He's not even playing on decks; he's playing off Ableton and live keyboards, everything. And you know, you have Ether just opening up King's Hall, which is such a special room. I mean, it's really a special time. Everyone stepped up, and like you said, people are doing this for the right reason because they know this is about elevating the culture.
And I think that's where like the elevation comes, right? Like you said, like you're not just coming and just playing like a quick set and just being like, yo, like I'm gonna play my set and be out, right? It's like everything, like the experience, like you guys keep saying it, right? So I want to reiterate it too, right? Like the experience that is going to be Indo House, right? Like because when people come, like you don't want them to be like, oh, I just saw this DJ like real quick, right? Like they played some cool music, right? Yeah. It's everything, right? Yeah. Like there's the famous video of you on stage, right? Like dancing with your, like it's such a good moment, right?
Last year when you just like
the Mirage one, bro.
Yo,
like
it's crazy.
It's such a cultural moment,
crazy.
right?
It's
like,
crazy.
Like I think like in terms of like being on like the documentation side of it, right? Yeah. Getting those like moments, right?
You know what's
cultural
crazy?
moments.
This week we were in our chat. I said to him, I was like, hey, from this time to this time, I'm not gonna be available. I have rehearsal. He's on the side. He goes, dance rehearsal? I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm not on your level, man. But this guy is a beast. I'm not gonna tell you what he's doing tonight. But when he did what he did last year, I was actually on next to stage, and I was just like, I felt like when you watch like Step It Up or whatever, you feel like you do the moves. I was like, it just like gets you going, man.
No, but. I knew that it was the case after obviously like meeting Hani like personally, like obviously meeting Kunal, like the energy that y'all bring, like I can tell that y'all are just excited to do this, right? Like to y'all this is not just like, yo, we play runs. Like the true love and passion that y'all have for the culture and for the music, right? Like it truly emanates in like the actions, but also like just your energy today.
I can speak for me, but I think it applies to a lot of us. And for me, like, I haven't been to a lot of clubs in the world. I haven't been to a lot of, like, I traveling for music and experiential stuff, I have limited experience with. But in the last, I would say 4 or 5 years, I've been to select few places. And whenever I was in a place that I was like, wow, this place is sick. It's beautiful. I can feel the music, the people are great, the energy is great. The first thought when I would reach that moment, the first thought I would have is like, what would it feel like if I was hearing our shit here? Yeah. Right? Like that, I would always have that. And excuse me, I go back to my days in when I was in high school, college, etc. One of my good friends, Akash, we used to play this game where we used to be at like a lounge and they used to be playing like reggaeton, dembow, whatever, fire stuff, but it's more beat based, right? It's not very lyrical heavy. And those beats would be going on while we're having drinks, and we would just we would play this game of singing Bollywood tunes on top of it, like it kind of like Dakshi style. Keep going, and you just keep going until you like hit a wall. And the more we did that, the more we actually could hear and see and feel like, oh, our shit can go on anything. Like, why are we limiting ourselves to playing it as is? Like, there's no rules. Like, if we want to hear it a certain way, if no one else is making it, then okay, let's go make it. And I think like for a lot of us, it was like we may have had those thoughts for years and years, but something clicked. I would say 2-3 years ago, where we made the switch to be like, okay, well, we've been talking about it or feeling it or thinking about it. Let's go fucking do it. And that was, I think, the birth of the idea and kind of making it real. But like, let's be honest, we've all thought about this shit for years. Like,
I was gonna say, like, I've been a club kid since I was like 16 years old. Mm-hmm. I just actually am just infatuated by club culture. I'm a student, not because I like to get fucked up and go to. I literally just like to go to clubs and watch DJs. I've always been that way. But to his point, I would do that on a Saturday night, and I'd go to the temple on Sunday, and I'd be listening to like bhajans and like religious music, and be like, in my head, just like, yo, this would sound so awesome, And it's like, it's just really there. And the more we talk about it, and the more we talk about why this is so natural for us, is we're literally born with music. We're born with music. Our culture is born with it. We can't escape it. Like I said, whether it's in a religious setting, whether it's at a restaurant, whether it's at a birthday party, whether it's playing Antakshari with your friends, like, it pours out of our blood. If you saw my dad, who came to Mirage last year, my parents came to Mirage last year in August. It was their first time seeing Indo. And kind of got it because they've all seen me DJing. But when they saw Indo, it's game over. Now it's like literally before every show they text me, have a great concert, have a great show. My dad calls, what time are you playing? What time is this? What like? My parents, you know, my dad's in his 70s, and he saw it when we went to Houston, my hometown. My dad's in the front row, like just great because again, it's connecting with so many people, and that's the thing we couldn't have planned. An idea, but people chose where to take it, right? We didn't say to it wasn't our goal to be like, oh, we're gonna have 7,000 people at Mirage. Like we know eventually we would have hopefully got there, but the way it got here is because the community said we want this.
Go back to your dad's enjoyment and your dad coming to shows. I think one important fact that I love more and more and more every single time is that every time we pull up to our shows now, like I know you're gonna see it today, and please grab footage of this with permission.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yo, y'all got that, right? Y'all got that. With Connie's blessing, we're doing this, right? That is.
No. That's the permission of them, not us.
Oh, I thought that was a blessing. Like, yo, God.
No, you have permission, but ask them permission.
Yeah, now you got to clip. No, but what's absolutely amazing and astonishes me every time is that what you see tonight in the crowd is you're going to see 3 generations of people in that crowd. You're going to see what you're kind of somewhat normally used to in club culture in New York City, which is like 20s, early 30s, and then like it trickles down quickly from there. But at our shows, you see that age group, then you see people in their late 30s, 40s. You see a bunch of people in their 50s, 60s, and 70s.
Yeah.
And I mean, you look at our VIP tables, and I'm sure you're gonna see parents and their kids are in the crowd, partying their ass off, right? When has that happened for us? I've never seen that ever. I haven't seen it ever in my life going to any round parties.
Might see a parent performing with his son. You might see a parent performing with his son. How special is that? That's crazy.
I think what y'all are like really like, because I think about it like when growing up, right? Like we played our music quietly, right? We played it within the safety of our own homes, right? We would play the loudest like hip hop music. We would play the loudest house music.
It depends, right?
Right.
Because actually it depends. You played that shit that you thought your parents would judge you for quietly, right? If you played like Bangla stuff or Bollywood stuff, Punjabi stuff, whatever, right? If you played stuff that was from the motherland, the mother tongue or whatever, they would probably be like, "Oh, acha beta, good job," you know. But I agree with you. Like, I wasn't gonna blast Eminem at home, right? But now just imagine like we've reached a time where like I think there's less division in music. Like our parents are beginning to understand that like. Actually, let me take that back. It's not only that our parents are understanding what we like, we are actually opening up, right? Like, we are actually listening to more music globally, like from all sorts of languages, but I think we're all building incredible music that is rooted in a lot of the languages from India, Pakistan, Nepal, etc. And I think, what I see is like the beginning of a solid 5 to 10 years where you're going to see South Asian music and creativity across not just music but like all the industries flourish. And I think we are at the start of it, but we're not alone. There's tons of music collectives and other groups and various agencies that are all like working their ass off to make it, and like you are one.
Exactly.
Right? So we are at that start now, but it's like we talk about this all the time. Now that we are fucking here, we cannot slow down. Because if we slow down, like you always say, we're all gonna slow down then. Like anyone who is accelerating cannot put their foot off the gas.
I put some humble spin on it, right?
I wish I had your quotes. I wish I had your quotes to use on you right now.
Let me talk some shit for these guys, right? Like I think that's why it's so important what y'all are doing, right? Because that's absolutely true, right? Y'all are leading the charge, right? Like y'all are playing Mirage, right? Y'all are making sure that our voices and our music is being heard at the biggest stage, right? For us to ever touch any of that, it starts with things like this, right? For us, whatever stage is bigger than this, right? Like the fact that we got here, because before y'all, none of us got here, right? But now that y'all have, hopefully there is another South Asian collective down the line that's like, yo, we can play Mirage because they did it, right? Hopefully, like, yo, whatever y'all end up
Listen,
bringing.
I will say, just because I love you talking your shit about us, but I will say there have been brown DJs played the stage before, all right? And there's brown artists that are playing stages much bigger than this, like Coachella. Look for us next year. But it's not. Again, I want to be very clear because I know you're giving us our flowers, and I appreciate that. But the fact is, and we have to always. This is what makes our culture beautiful. It's just we're born with this thought of respect that people came before you. There's a lot of people who paved the way for us to do what we're doing. And like Armand said, like this wasn't something that like we were thinking about for 20 years and it happened. It's just like different elements came together for this to be here, right? For me, if it wasn't hearing like Talvin Singh's song play on a Panasonic ad or just other things can't come, like I might not have got here, but we're here. And so it's why it's so important for us, not only for us to every time elevate our shows, elevate our sets, but also bring other artists who we are inspired by to the stage that will inspire someone else in the crowd. We have to all keep on going because we cannot do it ourselves, and we're not going to do it ourselves, and we don't want to do it ourselves. It's no fun when you're alone. We want to do it with so many of our South Asian brothers and sisters together, arm in arm, raising it for the next generation. This ain't about us. It's really about the next generation. It's about the thing that we talk about all the time. You know what? If you have a kid and your kid loves playing the piano, we'll encourage them to keep on playing the piano. Don't say, hey, stop that, it's nonsense, go do your math. No, push that. If your kid wants to be an actor, help them become the best actor. Like, we are, as a culture, creative. But we've been locked behind this timepiece, which is largely driven by immigration and what our parents have had to do to get it here. But now it's a different time now. Our parents did the hard work so we can now flourish. Now it's on us to come here and elevate for the next culture.
Yo, somebody clip that, but also somebody made me not like, yo, but I think back to back to y'all.
Remember, this is my shit.
No, that's it. Like, but I think like why it's like, and I want to keep giving y'all your flowers because like even like that attitude, right? It's like it's not the fact that y'all just doing it, right? Like y'all doing it like the right way, right? Like y'all doing it with like the right intentions. Because I think that's when you say like the community surrounded y'all, right? Like that's why. Right? Like they understand that y'all doing it for the right reasons, and they understand like the authenticity that's being done, right? You're not like appropriating like this like sound, right? Like this is like the sound that's intrinsic to y'all, right? Like you told me the original story of like you playing this like it getting played in Tulum,
yeah,
and hearing it, and from playing it at some random club in Tulum to like Mirage, right? It's really because like yo, that sound is within you, right? Like you didn't have this like master plan, like yo, I'm gonna play this right, and I'm gonna push it into the audience.
No. Actually, Shishi's here. I think he's on the mic right now.
Yeah. Are doors open already?
What time we at?
Oh, okay.
What time? No, we'll wrap this up.
You gotta wrap it. To quickly just touch on that story. Shishi's singing right now, but we were in Tulum. I was managing him at the time. We had we built a residency on a rooftop, and there were 300 people on this rooftop, and he dropped this remix of Sasalaya Chadka from Devdas. It was a house remix. It's his record. And he played it, and I'm standing next to him at the booth, and I'm just watching, and there's 300 people in front of us, not a single South Asian person in the audience. And everyone's arms in the air, and they're dancing, and they're like, oh, it's amazing, amazing. And I would just look at this, and I'm like, wait, you know, like, why did I always think that our language is a barrier? I mean, it's proven in many other cultures language is not a barrier. Latin House exists, Afro House is flourishing. So, this just showed me that everyone's okay with it. So, like, why isn't there more of this? And I went on a spree of finding, well, what else exists with our languages? And I was like, the volume's not there. It exists. Like, we're not the first to create this sound. I think we're creating our version of it and diving all the way in. But he mentioned names before, like Talvin Singh, Karsh Kaleh, like people have been doing this, but like we're trying to accelerate it now because we're just like, this can happen. Latin House is an established thing. Afro House is an established thing and thriving right now. Indo House is not even an officially recognized genre or category on any distribution platform or DSP out there. right? Right now, if you making a record that you are like, yo, Armand, I made an Indo House record, I want to show it to you. Would you guys be down? Let's say we're like, oh yeah, so excited to put this on the label. When we send it, it'll get auto tagged as
Afro
House
or Deep
or
House or whatever.
Whatever, but
World, the worst category. World.
It can't.
All y'all rest motherfuckers.
They don't even have a category to put it in.
Yeah.
So we are actively working on getting it recognized. I think within the next year it will be, and that is going to set off a signal and like a fire to everyone in the industry that, oh shit, this is real. So for anyone who's out there on the industry side being like, oh, there's this thing that's happening, I don't know what it's going to grab. No, like, you will hear about it very soon if you haven't already. And like, I think everyone's gonna hop on, and I just hope that when that happens, because there's always that time period when something gets recognized that everyone tries to push forward. I think we want to be a part of that. We want to help sift and filter through the noise, and we want to be able to sign the best records, support the best artists, and put our art across display across so many mediums: film, fashion, I mean, you name it, right? So all the talent that's out there, when we talk about like, you know, helping or energizing the youth to be excited about this, it's because like we're playing the long game. It's not about literally tomorrow. It's about 5-10 years from now. Like, I want to know, I want to inspire, I think we both, and our whole squad, we want to inspire like a 14-year-old who just got their new Mac and was like, I want to play GarageBand or Ableton, whatever, and like, cool, okay, like get your reps in and send us stuff. And like, you know,
Probably
like,
9-year-old at this day, you know, this crazy right now.
you know, actually, I mean, there's no, age is not a barrier to entry. So,
Before we leave, can we talk our shit for a second? Yo,
where else and when else?
so we're just talking about this at a broad level, and it is very true, and this is what we believe in. But yo, the music that we're gonna play tonight is gonna fuck your mind up. That's all I'm gonna say. Am I right?
Yeah.
We don't have a secret handshake yet. You know, I've been telling them we need to work on that. Do you think we should have a secret handshake?
I think y'all are doing way more than enough. Y'all are doing, I think the what y'all doing, right? From like again, like I will continuously give y'all the flowers because what y'all doing is so important, right? Like, people like to throw around the word like trailblazers, right? But what you're talking about in terms of generations down, right? We don't know, like 5-10 years from now, some kid who's playing a Coachella, right, is gonna look and be like, yo, because Kunal Kahani played Mirage, I was able to like convince my parents to continue to work, right? So I can hit this Coachella stage, right? Like that's the dream, right?
I'm sure you will help us find these individuals, and we'll come back to this moment.
We will come back to this moment. That's like the beauty of this all, right? Like reflections, right? Reflections.
Yes, sir.
Reflections, right? Like I'm then reflecting on where I was 6 months ago when I first met you, right? And where y'all were 6 months ago when I first met y'all. And like 6 months later, what does it look like, right? And what does it look like 6 months from now? What does it look like a year from now? What does it look like 5 years from now? And that to me is the most fucking exciting thing to see outcome.
Let's go.
Yeah. There you go.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for being here, bro.
Thank you guys. Thank you guys so much.
Bro.